Hello. Hello to the two people that are watching on the pod. I'm just gonna adjust the color temperature of my camera. Bear with. That one. Cool. That looks a bit better. How we doing? How's things? Hello Harry, on time this week. Next one. How's things? Oh dear. I'm low on water already. Good start. What have I been doing? I've been working on a car again. But more importantly, I've been making videos. Good, thanks. How are you? Not too bad. I cut my hand pretty well. I did that like I think just before stream last week actually. That was good. Oh, thanks Twitch for emailing me. Yeah, I've been playing around with a rather nice keyboard that I just uploaded. It's a tiny 10 keyless one. That's only £30, believe it or not. A Zotac 2080 Super, which is interesting. And then the thing that I started from today was if you've seen the Ubiquity networking stuff from a couple weeks ago, well, that, but gaming. We can talk about that later. Hello Ish, hello Tank and Chickens. Scooby Lumber, 2070 Super or RX 5700 XT. So I don't have good results for that, so you'll have to see what the internet says. I get the feeling that the 5700 XT is a good bit cheaper though. If I remember rightly. Hello Kev, how you doing? It's been a while. Hello Spencer, hello Gavin. Is there going to be another vid on the Logitech Lightspeed, as in a full review of the G502 Lightspeed? I don't see why not. It's not currently on the schedule because lots of things are currently on the schedule. Speaking of that, keyboard. I'll work out what one that is later. Got anything planned for 50k? Yes, taking a break. No, I'll be in Scotland next week actually, and so I it would be nice to do a live stream, like as I cross the line. But I'm also not sure when that will happen, so we'll see. I'm currently 80 away, or no, 60 away. No worries, Spencer. Glad you managed to get it home. Whereabouts? Fort William, actually. So quite a good bit north of you guys. Although, if you can get to Glasgow, I'll be there for a day or evening. Yeah. Your thoughts would be good whenever you have the time. Yeah, I mean, I can give you a short synopsis now. So the G502 Lightspeed is really nice. From what I've seen, it's quite expensive for a wireless mouse, right? Let's double check. Wow, that's more expensive than I thought it was. So for £130, see, it is quite a nice mouse. But for that kind of money, it's hard to. That's hard to like really very definitively say. Yeah. But either way, it's a very nice mouse. Overall build quality feels good. The power play stuff is nice if you like. Because if you're going to have a wireless mouse, one of the banes of wireless mice is having to plug it in. And so the power play thing, while also, again, an extra, let me check, power play, £80. So you'd be looking at like £200 for a mouse there, and mouse mat, but you would never have to plug it in again. So that's definitely nice. How much is Corsair's Dark Core? Aha, £80. So Corsair's one is a good bit cheaper. And also their MM1000 Chi mat would actually let you charge your phone as well, which is kind of cool. But yeah, you're looking at like £80 instead of 130. The one thing that I would say there is that I haven't ever touched a Dark Core SE, RGB SE wireless, so I can't tell you if it's actually any better. But from all that I've heard, at least the wireless connection anyway, is ostensibly the same. So yeah. 20th evening, 21st morning. Nice one, Spencer. Is GeForce Experience worth installing? So kind of. I mean, if you want to be able to record your gameplay, or especially if you want to just record like a funny moment that happened, it's kind of cool to have installed. Otherwise, I don't really see any use for it. The whole game optimization thing is a load of crap anyway, so why is my Ryzen 5 2600X CPU changing clock speed automatically? That is because of its ability to boost its clock speed itself. Precision boost overdrive and extreme frequency XFR, extreme frequency response. I don't know. Either way, basically all CPUs for the last 5 years or so, maybe a bit less, have had some level of auto boosting, overclocking, like auto boosting technology. Same with the graphics cards actually, where depending on the what you're doing with the CPU, so whether you're gaming on it, it's going to try and increase the clock speed as much as possible to get the most possible performance. But if you're only, say, browsing using a web browser, it's going to generally park cores, which is set them at the lowest clock speed that they can physically run at, which for Ryzen can be anywhere down to like 800 megahertz. And also turns the voltage down so that it uses a lot less power when it's effectively idling. So that happens. So yeah. Ari, your APU review, could you try games in Linux for it? Possibly. Do I still? No, that's the 900K. Where is it? So it's not currently in a system, but I can probably put it in a system, maybe. The only problem is that I don't really use Linux myself much. So yeah, what sort of games would you be interested in seeing tested specifically? Also, nice one, Harry. Also, hello, Riley. How you doing? How's things? Ba, 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 ba. Oh, Tank and Chickens, do you know why there haven't been any small ICX sized AMD mid to high end GPUs in a while? So generally speaking, there's a number of contributing factors. The ones that I can most prevalently think of is that AMD doesn't release that many GPUs. The ones that they do tend to be relatively low volume, and the ones that are high volume tend to not really have the market for being ITX, or if they are, they already have smaller form factor cards. Also, I would probably say that a lot of the ITX market has had a bit of a shift in terms of how the cases are designed, such that most, as Spencer now says, most small form factor cases tend to support pretty big graphics cards, or at the very least full length ones. So those would be my main thoughts or contributing factors. Yeah. Rocket League Tomb Raider. I don't own Shadow the Tomb Raider, and I do obviously own Rocket League because I play it a bit, but yeah. I can certainly have a look. Linux benchmarking could be a niche, but it is not something that I am personally invested in, unlike people like Wendo from Level 1 Techs. So, you know, if I was personally invested in it, it'd be a lot easier for me to do it because I generally probably already have a lot more experience with Linux. I like I'd certainly be interested in testing it, but yeah, Veronix to the Linux gamer, those two might have your answers. Gaming on Linux. So apparently it's not quite a small niche. Tank and chickens might not be the best thing for me to answer publicly. Ryan, Team Group RAM any good? By far the best value, 3600 CAS 16, but never heard of the brand. So yes, Team Group RAM is pretty good. They are they're a lot smaller than most manufacturers, and I think, and I am very likely to be wrong here, but I think that they started and their main business model is more OEM stuff. With that said, it's still it's still a very good company, generally speaking, or at least as far as I'm aware, anyway. And I've tested a few different, or I've used a few different kits of Team Group RAM. In fact, I actually have Team Group RAM in my NAS. So yeah, they're good. They're generally a no frills brand, so you don't tend to get RGB stuff or whatever else. You get a heatsink if it needs it, and that's about it. So yeah. But short answer, yes, good. Gavin, can you get Linux for the PS2? I didn't know that was the thing. I know you can get Linux to the PS3, the original one, the fat one. Also, that is quite a comprehensive list. I must add. I have it on my PS3 knocking about. Yeah, fair play. I think PS2 was used by some researchers. Okay, fair play. I didn't know that was the thing. I mean, there's no standardized I/O, so I don't know what the deal with that would be. But yeah, Ryan, yeah, actually, I haven't played that in a while. Zaphod, hello, how you doing? How's things? Hello, Chris, how you doing? Everyone's popping in. How's the first box? Not too bad. Like you said, it's kind of the Apple of routers. So a lot of the settings that I would expect are kind of obfuscated. And I mean, I must admit, I was port forwarding a few ports for stuff like Plex, and I port forwarded 21 to let my friend accessed some files from my NAS, which was great. I've since closed that port, but still. So yeah, it seems to be pretty easy, pretty decent to use. I haven't seen a significant drop in throughput or anything, but I am testing a few different, or I'm testing another Ubiquiti networking kit, and I'm thinking about possibly swapping to it once I have a look at that. But I'd still have to use either the Asus one or the Fritzbox as the VDSL modem, unless I go and get a VDSL modem, but then that's another thing I'd have to buy. So, yeah. Anyone tried Firefox's share link system? I haven't, but I have seen a few like pop-ups for it. What's the deal with that? Am I right? Someone interested in my PC, and then I'm going half and half on a new college laptop for college with my parents. I might be PC-less for a while, so hopefully they get 8 games alright. Okay, that's weird. Fair play. Abraham, is the Lenovo Legion laptop series, especially the Y540, any good? I haven't had any what you call it? I haven't had any experience with them. I keep getting a lot of questions, which means they're probably pretty popular, and that if I had one, that video would probably do rather well. So I would love to, take a look at one. But for the time being, I am not in contact with Lenovo or any PR agencies that work with Lenovo, and therefore, yeah, it'd be, I can't really tell you, is the answer. I have heard good things. I know that Hardware Canucks did a review pretty recently on one, so feel free to check those guys out. Yeah, I can't give you a personal recommendation for it, I'm afraid. Fair play, Spencer. I think Mozilla let you upload a file to them, then they hold it for 28 or 48 hours. Let anyone with a link download it. Not sure if you can limit the number of people or set the timeout. Is there a file size cap on that? What do you think of Microsoft's Surface range? I just started my new job and got a Surface Pro 6, and I must say, quite impressed with the performance and quality, but pricey. Yeah, so that's the the trade-off, right? So you get really nice build quality, you get a very responsive machine, despite the relatively low spec kind of thing. So yeah. But yeah, the build quality is really nice. Do you have the touch cover? I hope you do. Also, the pen and digitizer is rather nice. Also, the new screen size is pretty cool too. So yeah, if you like, I would understand why a company would use them as like work laptops, company laptops. Makes a lot of sense. As a personal user, I don't think that I would really recommend one unless you really like. I suppose if you're in the market for a MacBook, you'd be in the market for that. So maybe, because clearly people are willing to spend like £2,000 on a laptop that has less horsepower than a £500 like gaming laptop. But priorities. So. Tanga Chickens, ever tried undervolting the Ryzen 5 2600X? I haven't. I've barely tried overvolting it or overclocking it. Yeah, no, not really. I haven't really got much experience in undervolting stuff. I know that tends to be an AMD thing to get a bit better power consumption, and obviously at the sacrifice of a bit of performance. But yeah, I don't have much experience with undervolting anything. 1 gig. Okay. I mean, that's not bad, but isn't that what's the file transfer, or what's the file size limit for WeTransfer? Because I'm pretty sure that's the same thing. What's your thoughts on an i5-9300H with a GTX 1650 with dual channel, 16 gig, 2666 RAM? So that's a laptop, right? And since you already asked about the Lenovo, yeah. So I tested the Acer Nitro 5, which has a very similar spec to that. I think it's 8 gigs of RAM instead of 16, but yeah, so you're looking at like low settings 1080p gameplay. And yeah, 60 FPS is definitely a thing. But yeah. I don't think it'd be that bad. It just depends on how much the laptop costs. Oh, first off, how are you doing this fine day? Second, how well do FreeSync monitors work with NVIDIA cards? I'm monitor and GPU shopping. So hello, I'm not too bad. I've been in like a crazy amount of pain this week, like taking tramadol every day, kind of crazy amount of pain. Also quite sick. Lovely. So that's great. But what was I gonna say? Monitor wise, right? Yes. So I have limited experience with actually enabling FreeSync on NVIDIA graphics cards because I test stuff, but not all that much, and it kind of varies what I test and how I test it. So yeah, but from my experience, it varies between monitors. Check out so like there are a few channels who have expressly talked about the FreeSync support or the G-Sync support on FreeSync monitors of different monitors, so you can definitely take a look at that. But yeah, overall it seems to be pretty decent. It seems to be fairly few outliers that actually have any problems, and I think the reason for that is because FreeSync relies on an open standard of which you can't claim to support the standard if you don't meet the standard. So yeah. Do you game with speakers or headset? So I game with a headset, and my was because this is the Audio Technica gaming headset. It's the ATH-G1WO. It's ostensibly just ATH M50s, but with a microphone, and in this case are wireless, which I really like. Also, no RGBs. The only LED you have is there, and it's a like power or indicator LED, and that's it. I really like the blue accent though. Have a look at that. I cover my face, it'll focus. Look at that. The camera doesn't pick it up because it's noisy as all hell, but it's brushed aluminium, like anodized brushed aluminium rather than painted. So very nice. Yeah, very comfortable. The microphone kinda sucks. It doesn't suck that bad, but like, I don't know. It's Audio Technica. I feel like it should be better. But you'll see the review pretty soon. Yeah. Yeah, I really like them. They're incredibly comfortable. And actually, one of the things that I really like is these ear pads. They're pleather on the side, but then they're fabric on the inside, which is my personal preference, and I just love it. And also, they come with a full spare set, like 2 more ear cups in the box, which means that when these get nasty and like drenched in sweat and the foam is degraded to nothing and they're not comfortable anymore, you just swap them out with the ones in the box. I really wish more you know, like headset manufacturers did that, but yeah, big fan. Goofy, what do you recommend? What 140Hz 1080p 24-inch do you recommend? I've looked at your Asus MG248QR. Is there something better? So I'd probably say the AOC G2590 PX FX. FX if you don't care about an adjustable stand, or PX if you do. I think they've taken the price difference down to like 10 pounds difference, so yeah. But yeah, probably that one. The MG248QR I'm pretty sure is pretty old now. Talking like 3-ish years old. Whereas the AOC G2590PX is like came out this year, late last year, so yeah. Are they better than the Corsair, I guess, Void Pro wireless? So audio quality wise, like listening quality, 100%. They are absolutely incredible in terms of the bass that you get and the clarity in the bass as well. It's not like when you get cheap headphones that have a lot of bass, all of the bass tones tend to merge into each other, and so you get a very punchy sound, but it's not crisp while being punchy, whereas these are. So yeah, very, like, absolutely love that. The microphone, I would say that the Void is probably better. It's not much better, but it is a bit picky in where you put it, whereas the Void is on a boom arm, so you just, and it's there. But yeah, comfort wise, I would say they're basically the same. The only thing is that those, the Audio Technicas, while they have the same level of comfort and like free feel, they're not free on your head. They actually stick quite well, and they're also a bit lighter than the Void, so a little bit better there. Battery life, I think, is pretty much the same. They both charge with micro USB, not that I like it. And range seems to be about the same, so yeah. If you value audio quality, yes, but they're also 220, 230 pounds, so they're not the cheapest things in the world either. And if you already have the Void Pro, unless you really want the better audio quality, I wouldn't say that it's worth the difference. If you were looking at the two on the shelf and you didn't have either, and you were willing to spend more money for better audio quality, then yes, definitely. But otherwise, yeah. Yeah, well, so they are a premium headset. You do, and the Logitech 933s. Fair play, fair play. Yeah, like I said, it's probably not worth the just having another spare pair of headphones. I suppose the easiest thing to do is go out and buy Audio Technica ATH M50s and then stick a mod mic on them, because ostensibly that's the same thing. The only thing is that if you want the wireless mod mic, that's £100, and the wireless version of the M50s are 180. So if you wanted that, then you may as well just go with these, because that's like 50 quid cheaper. But if you want the wired ones and a wired mod mic, that's 30 quid cheaper, or maybe even less. Yeah. Scott Green, wouldn't my PC be able to play games, upcoming games like Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts, Windows 10, Ryzen 5, 2600X, Sapphire RX 590, and 16 gigs RAM? Yes, sounds like a pretty good setup. I have the Voids in my garage man cave, nice, for music, and the 933s are in my office for gaming. Fair play. So if you, yeah, if you want nice music listening, then I mean, do you need the microphone on the man cave ones, or not? I use a Razer headset, no shame. Oof. Fair play. Which one do you use? Oh, okay. Well, speaking of that, these have a very good fit around the ear, and seal rather well. So, and they're obviously closed back, so they do cut out any undue noise. No, not really until I go on Discord. Fair play. Would it be too much to have like a desk mic or something just for Discord? Because if so, then the wireless M50s would be a very nice option. Fair play, Watson. Fair play, Goofy. Got some Astro 40s, never use them. Fair. Don't you have a pretty good speaker setup though? Fair play. Yeah, and that's the reason I don't I don't use them. I thought so. I'm thinking my neck should be MH751s. They look good. Nice. Fair play. Fair play indeed. Actually, I have interest. What brand? Biggest waste of £200 ever. Ouch. What brand like keyboard and mouse does everyone use? Because I have quite both the collection and the selection just on my desk. I have actually two Logitech mice, one of which doesn't get used that much, but is good to have spare. A Razer mouse that I game on, the Naga Trinity, and then a Cooler Master keyboard. Nice, fair play, Tank and Chickens. I was asked if I'd reviewed any Geek cases actually recently. Fair play. Brian, do you play GTA games? I used to, 4 and 5. Tech Syndicate standard issue mouse, nice. DAS keyboard. Thank you. You. Logitech G513 and a Death Adder Elite. Fair play. Logitech G302, Ancient Cytec Eclipse keyboard and a cheapo Anchor mouse. Fair play. What type of games do you play, Mac? Corsair Quickfire and Rapid and a G502 for gaming. Corsair 65 and Corsair keyboard in the garage. Fair play. Fair play. Goldmaster Master Keys Pro L. Hey. Logitech G703 Status CB headphones, Behringer mic. Fair play. Fair play. Ah, yes, that's it. That explains it. Oh yeah, I was working on the car, my broken Audi today, so I've washed my hands like 3 times. By the way, the carbon build-up on diesels is just unbelievable. What's your favorite game? Like super favorite game? Well, it used to be. So it used to be GTA 4, and then GTA 5 came out, and there was that for quite a long time, and I probably spent, what have I got, like 1,500 hours just on PC. About 1,000 of those are modding. I very much enjoy Rainbow Six Siege. I enjoy what do you call it, Rocket League. I really loved PUBG for a bit, but then I kind of let go of that. I quite enjoy Project Cars / Project Cars 2 with my wheel and my Vive. I quite enjoy Apex, though I don't really play it that much right now. I don't really have a favorite game. Yeah, I can't really tell you, I'm afraid. As your injuries, well, that one's healing. That was the one that I did just before last stream, where I put a saw like really fast into my hand, and that hurt quite a lot. Well, it didn't really hurt that much; it just bled a lot. So that one's healing. My front of the Audi bonnet lip or front bar lip is healing as well. So yeah, but the injuries to my self-esteem are clearly much more damaging. uh, Civilization makes me forget about other games. Fair play. I've played City Skylines recently as well, which is quite fun. Although I feel like I have like just really bad anxiety with that. I have to stop playing. It was the same with Satisfactory. I got so overwhelmed with like desperately needing more like ore and stuff, and like trying to work out how I could set up like 600 in-game days from now how I could set up stuff so that it all works together, and I just had to stop playing because it wasn't good for me. It's the problem. But what PC games do you play, Andrew? I kind of just listed them. Currently, not that many. I play Rainbow Six Siege every now and again, and I play Pavlov VR. Actually, is quite fun with the Vive that's hiding behind the chat, and Project Cars 2 as well. But yeah, I've been busy with real world stuff. Yeah. Hello, Troll Ninja, using an RTX 2060 with a Ryzen 2400D. Am I bottlenecking? The short answer there is yes, definitely. That's a relatively slow, small quad core. It's not the biggest deal in the world, I'm sure, but what resolution are you playing at? Are you playing at 1080, 1440, or 4K? I hear No Man's Sky in VR is good. I've heard a lot of good things about No Man's Sky in the last, year since it launched, or year after it launched, and then I started hearing good news. So yeah, I've heard many good things, so I might have to check it out again. Actually, I know that Starman, who's normally here, normally loves it. So yeah. Between Xbox One and PS4, which do you prefer? Honestly, neither, because I don't have either. I don't play on consoles. So yeah, meh. But yeah, I suppose if I had to really pick, probably, I don't really know. They've both kind of got pros and cons. I like the idea of the Xbox because you get the dual games for PC and what you call it, dual games for like Windows Store and Xbox Store, which is kind of cool, I guess. But also PlayStation has more exclusives that I care about right now, or like kind of care about right now. I clearly don't care enough to own one, so yeah. Ouch-ish. Fair play. Troll Ninja, yes. If you upgrade your PC, you will get better performance. I haven't played Way Out or The Way Out, whatever. So yeah, no, I haven't. I have played. I'm sure that it's not anything like it, but the what you call it? Mine's gone blank. God damn it. Her Story. It's a very interesting indie game. It's mostly just footage, but it's a console, like like an old school console kind of thing where you can you type in search terms and then it comes up with the footage, and you have to work out the story, like you have to work out the story yourself. It's a very, very interesting game. Highly recommend it. Yeah. Would you recommend the Aorus AD27QD? Because I plan on getting it. So in general, yeah, it's a rather nice monitor. I don't really know of anything right now that is like better ostensibly, like in every category. There are obviously better ones for, like, there is a better 1440p color accurate monitor, but it's not 140 hertz. There are better 140 hertz 1440p monitors, but they're not IPS and like same color accuracy. So as an all-round kind of best in class, I would still say that, at least as far as I'm aware, it's still probably one of the better ones, and of course it's cheaper than the PG278Q or PG279Q and QR or QRZ or whatever they call it. So, oh dear, yes. Have you played Detroit Become Human? I haven't. That was one of the games that I wanted to play, but because I don't own a console, I don't have. Yeah. Also, what is bottlenecking in PC gaming? So bottlenecking it's not just in PC gaming, but in PC gaming, you would normally hear referred to when you have for example, with Troll Ninja's case, a pretty cheap CPU with a fairly high-end GPU. And so the idea that the CPU is the bottleneck there. It's the limiting factor in your performance. So what it's trying to identify what part of your PC is the thing that is holding back performance the most, and then that's the thing that you say is the bottleneck. So if you have a very expensive, let's call it the new 16-core Ryzen CPU that's just about to come out. So you've got the like £700 or what, £500? The 16-core high-end crazy 5 gigahertz whatever Ryzen CPU, and then you've got a £100 like used old graphics card, like GT 650, let's say, right? I don't think they're worth £100, but whatever. So let's say you've got that. In that case, the graphics card would be the bottleneck there, because it is the main limiting factor in your performance. The same way around, if you have a really cheap CPU, you know, an old Pentium or something, and you have an RTX 2080 Ti, you know, over £1,000 graphics card, the CPU is not going to be letting the graphics card work to its full potential, and therefore is the bottleneck in that situation. But as Ish says, you know, pre-built systems try and do their best to balance all of those factors out of the box so that you don't have to care about that. Spencer, is it? I didn't know that, but I would be happy to play it if it does. Yeah. Do you think the GT 1030 graphics card to start into game? So I think that's is it any good? So generally speaking, no. I would say save up and get something better, because the amount of money that you're spending on that, it's only a very small portion extra to get like significantly more performance. So yeah, get something like an RX 570, or again, if you can stretch it, an RX 580, and then you'll get a much better gaming experience for not that much more money. Should I get assume Ryzen 1600 or a Ryzen 3600 for 1080p gaming, thinking to match it with a 5700 XT? So 3600, while being ostensibly the same core count and thread count, you're going to get a lot better gaming performance, especially at 1080p with the 3600. And so while it does cost a bit more, think of it as an upgrade, you know, as if you're going to spend more on your graphics card, but obviously because you're going the AMD route, you can't, because that's the best graphics card they do right now, or actually produced right now. So yeah. No worries, Gavin. We'll see. What's a good option to replace the 7700K? Because I realize how it's not much good for streaming. So if you're only streaming, like if streaming is the only limiting factor for you, then maybe check out using NVENC instead, and then you probably won't have as many issues. If you really want to replace it, then you will need to replace your motherboard, and no, your RAM can probably stay, but you will need to replace your motherboard and possibly even your CPU cooler, depending on what CPU cooler you have. So in that case, something like a Ryzen 3600 actually is probably a pretty good shout. You're going to get very good performance from that. You actually get a good CPU cooler in the box if you go with the X. I mean, you still get a good CPU cooler in the box if you go with the non-X, but point is you get a better one in the X. So yeah, and then a B450 motherboard is probably a good shout for you. Yeah. What else have I been looking at? Amplify stuff, headphones. Oh, I should probably mention, next week I am off. I am actually, for the first time in 3 years, taking a proper holiday. So yeah, I will not be streaming next week. I'll be streaming the week after, and then I won't be streaming the week after that because I'm in Berlin for IFA. But there will be a stream from IFA, it just won't be the normal one. So yeah. Chris, can you test CPU bottlenecks with two 4-core Athlon Ryzen at 4K with a 2080 Ti, because GPU does more higher up in the resolution? Would be cool to see if the higher end CPUs are a waste at that res. Sure, seems like a bit of a niche niche use case. I don't know many people who are running 4K monitors, 2080 Ti's, and two 4-core Athlons. So yeah. Nice finish. Had a long day. Yeah, what else have I been looking at? Let's have a look. Now, a laptop that's not been returned to me yet. Yeah. So I've got a gaming projector tomorrow. I use a 2-core APU with a Titan XP at 5K. Well, but you're just crazy. My PC is a 8th gen Core i7. Which graphics card is best for my PC? What resolution do you want to, I assume, game at? And how much money are you willing to spend? Yeah, tomorrow I have a gaming projector video, which is quite interesting. I'll be interested to hear what you guys think of it, actually. Because it's a 120 hertz, relatively low input lag projector, and full 1080p. It accepts a 4K signal, which I think in the video I entirely dismissed as pointless because it's just a 1080p digitizer, so a 4K signal is just the stupidest thing you could do. It's just downsampling it. But yeah, it's a 120 hertz projector that seems to actually do 120 hertz reasonably properly, with relatively low input lag. So yeah, I'd be interested to see what you think. But yeah, MD official, what resolution do you want to game at, and how much money are you willing to spend on a graphics card? Ah. Oh. Gotta love my body, yeah. I try not to. Like, even if it's like this pain, I still try not to. 1060 Ti I buy online. Okay, please tell. I feel like there might be a bit of a language barrier here. I don't think that there is a 1060 Ti. Maybe a 1050 Ti, and that was or 1070 Ti. But that's the one that there isn't of. um, incoming fake AliExpress card. I did consider buying some of those like really cheap fake eBay graphics cards just to prove a point, but I didn't really feel like it was actually that worth it. 1660 Ti, maybe. Either way, 1060 or 1070 are all pretty decent cards, so yeah. Get it from Wish. Oh god, no, please no. I bought this £7,000 box from Wish. It had 50p and a poo in it. Indeed. Buyer protection and all that. I built a next PC 9th gen Core i9. Okay, cool. Again, I'm. It's quite hard to converse with you, I'm afraid. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. In general, an RTX 2060 or 2070 is probably a pretty good pair for that for a 9th gen CPU. So, yeah. But I can't really advise too much else. I'm more than happy to bear with people's English. In fact, actually, as a general note, I would much rather people speak in their native languages or whatever languages they're comfortable speaking in or typing in, and then we just use Google Translate. Well, I greatly appreciate people like, foreign to me. Obviously, I'm foreign to them, but foreign to me people who don't necessarily know English all that well. Sort of attempting to use it to be able to converse with English speaking channels, and like that's awesome. It's just that when it's like written comments, it's generally easier to decipher a Google Translate than it is to decipher a sort of broken English message. So yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're comfortable speaking in English, please do feel free. But yeah, please do feel free to speak your own languages, and we will do our best to accommodate. Thank you, Andy Official. Yo, I have a budget of £900. I'd like to make a build with the 3600X and RTX 2060. What motherboard should I use? First time I would have built it. Nice. So probably a B450 board. Thinking actually one of the nice ones I've checked out recently is the ASRock B450 Steel Legend. It's a very nice board. Has pretty decent BIOS support. Pretty decent like everything really. So. Yeah, I mean, Chris and Wapted are both saying the B450 Tomahawk, so fair play, check that one out too. But yeah, my personal recommendation from ones that I've tested anyway, would be that the what you call it thingy one. But yeah, Samantha, 2600X versus 3600. So that's actually pretty tough. 3600 for most cases, actually, as Wapt had said, is probably your better bet. It depends what you're doing though. Are you just gaming? And also, if you are gaming, are you 1080p or 1440p gaming? No worries. Glad that we could help. And thanks. Hope you carry on enjoying the videos. 15% IPC and slight clock improvements. Yeah, that's kind of the main thing with the lower resolution, like 1080p resolution. That is a pretty significant factor. Also, the doubling of the cache. Have you played Skyrim? Not really. I'm not really a fan of anything like oldie, or mythical. Really, I like cars and planes and guns. Um, I'm a new age boy, I'm afraid. What things do you watch on YouTube? Um, Quite a wide variety. I would say that most of the time it's probably car stuff because that's like the reason that it's not the reason I have that, but it's the reason that I've got a like double slit in my like forearm and why I'm still covered in oil and diesel um or carbon deposits. Um so yeah. Um Mostly that. Sometimes people like Cord or Digital, um, stuff like Smarter Every Day. Who else? Hmm, the Russian Badger, uh, Colin Furs, Philip DeFranco, Computer File, who's a bit more relevant to this channel. Yeah, those sorts of peeps. Do you play Need for Speed? I played Most Wanted when I was like 7 to 12 and I absolutely loved it. And then I stopped playing Need for Speeds because generally speaking they got a bit naff. um, Thanks, Chris. Samantha, if I plan on having it for the next few years, do you think the extra cores and threads will be a big difference? So you're only gaming at 1080p, so honestly, no. I think you'll see more of a more of a benefit from that IPC, and obviously, it's because it's AMD. It's not the end of the world if you wanted to pick up the 3700X or even the like 46 or 4700X when they come out. So yeah, you should probably try Need for Speed Payback. You'll love the game. Okay, let's take a look. Kevin, a bit of a new question, so I apologise. If the AIO and fans go on the top of the case, should it exhaust or the reverse? So no worries. Not the noobest question I've ever heard. Trust me, I've heard much worse. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so with an AIO, generally speaking, if that chair would move, you'd see an AIO. But generally speaking, when an AIO is in the top of the case, just pretend that you can see it through the chair. It's generally an exhaust because generally you have cold air going in the front, or ambient air going in the front, and then the hot air, which obviously hot air rises, goes out the top and out the back, and then you can also have stuff coming in from the bottom as well. So that's the general setup. Because hot air rises, what you're going to tend to have is the hot air coming from your graphics card, especially if it's an open air graphics card, like most aftermarket designs, rather than a blower style design. So that hot air then rises up to the case and through the radiator. And if you have those fans blowing up, that you get that all of that hot air exhausted out of the case. Whereas if you got blowing down, you then have to rely on the positive pressure to push it kind of out the back of the case rather than out the top. So you get a bit more surface area to exhaust all of the hot air from both inside your case and from the radiator. So generally speaking, exhaust. I know that I could have said that in a much shorter answer, but I like talking. Apparently. I've been doing it for 7 years straight. I guess I must. Building my first PC soon, thinking about playing at 1080p, but is 1440p worth it? So if you're just building your first PC, then generally speaking, no, 1080p is good. If you're like willing to spend a bit more and get a good 1440p, then it is very nice. It's what I game on personally. I've gamed on 1080p. In fact, I'm touching a 1080p 141st monitor that I gamed on for 5 years. And only relatively recently have I switched to this. It's a very nice monitor. I do love the crispness, and it kind of depends what type of game you play on. If you prefer a little bit better FPS in games, because obviously you have to have a pretty decent system, at least at the moment anyway, to get high refresh rate, 144 Hz, 1440p. whereas obviously you need less for a 1080p. But yeah, it's personal preference. I do absolutely love it, but it's not worlds apart from 1080p. So yeah. Really nervous when building my first PC, mainly worried about connecting cables and knowing where to put fans and hard drives, etc. Any tips? So the easiest thing to do is just watch as many YouTube videos as possible. I know that I have plenty of build guides if you want to check them out, self promotion. But yeah, because most of the like, once you've watched enough of those videos, you'll have heard basically all of the tips that we could ever give you. The long story short there is take it slow, make sure you know what you're confident in what you're doing. If you're building an AMD system, then make sure that the CPU goes in the right orientation. It only goes in one way, and you just drop it in when the arm is up, and then push the arm down and it should lock. RAM only goes in one way, SSDs only go in, or like M.2 SSDs only go in one way. Graphics cards only go in one way. So really it's pretty simple, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. But yeah, the best tip I can give is that if you've still got some time before you actually build your next your PC, just watch a whole load of build guides and like how to build a gaming PC videos, and yeah. Is there harm in mixing RAM brands? So it depends how you have it set up. You want the same sticks. So if you're buying a 2x kit, it's not the end of the world if you have 2 and 2, but if you're using 2 in the same channel, so most motherboards are dual channel, so you've got 2 sticks in one channel and 2 sticks in the other, and they normally overlap. So if you're using one kit in one channel and another kit in another channel, it's generally not the end of the world. It's best to keep it the same, but it isn't, as I said, the end of the world. If you're using one kit, like one stick, and then you add another stick to the same channel, that's a bit more difficult, and you're going to have more complications. Mixing speeds isn't too bad, except you'll only be able to run at the slowest speed of the kits, because they'll all have to run at the same speed. So yeah. Hello, Pablo. Lexum, Ixum? I don't know. I do know him. I met him, God, like 2+ years ago now, at AMD's offices in Austin, when MSI took us there for some reason. Yeah. Cool, fair play. Anyway, that is the end of the hour of this stream. As I said, I'm not streaming next week, so keep that in mind. I'll be back streaming next week, but obviously still videos coming out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, including tomorrow and, well, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Yeah, otherwise I will catch you all guys next week. Have a great week, and yeah.